R.I.P. Ranger Raptor. I'll include a link to the Carl Malone Chevy and Park City's website in the description down below. They're providing us with this Colorado Bison. Also include a link to my car buying guide. Let's get into it. Powering this is the turbo 2.7 liter 4-cylinder that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy 16 around town, 16 on the highway, with power outputs being 310 horsepower and then 430 pound-feet of torque. We're closing in on 500,000 subscribers. I'd really appreciate it if you'd help out with that. Turbo Max there on either side of the raised blacked out piece in the center. Very sharp headlight design with the Colorado. You can see it's blacked out here in the grille. You've got the Chevy flow tie that's hollow, but then has some red. AEV bumper with this Bison package. We also have fog lights built into the front end, and then we've got recovery points and underbody protection. Altogether, I do think this looks better than the Ranger Raptor from a front end perspective. Tire and wheel setup is 315 by 70 by 17, and so yeah, you've got, I mean, they're 34.4s, but everyone calls them 35s, so either way, much bigger than what you have on the Ranger Raptor. And you'll note, really cool wheel design. Now this is slightly lifted to actually fit those bigger tires, but most of the space provided for the bigger tires comes from these new fender flares, and then you can see we've got rock rail protection. This also comes with not only the Multimatic shocks, but the Multimatic jounce bump stops, which are supposed to help with overall compression. And when you take it all in from a side profile perspective, again, this thing just looks great. When it comes to key fob features, we've got our lock and unlock function, remote start, you've got the Chevy bow tie there on the back. And if we pop into the back, you can see the tailgate slow lowers down. There's also a fly. Look at that. He's not even moving because it's so slow. There's an outlet in the bed. There is also a full-size spare in the bed as well. And this has the normal Colorado drainable storage here on the tailgate. You also have a ruler on the tailgate as well. And it's pretty light to lift up. You've got Chevrolet stamped into the back. Pretty cool looking taillight design. You've got the AEV bumper with rigid recovery points. And that will cap things off for the exterior of this Colorado. This week's giveaway makes my Jeep look lame because it is a supercharged Rubicon 392 that is fully decked out, producing 650 horsepower. Now, not only can you win this Rubicon 392, but part of the giveaway is also $26,000 in cash to help pay for the taxes. And not only that, your donations go towards helping children's and veterans charities. So use code BHC or click the link in the description down below or in the pinned comment. Any donation, $25 or more, will give you 4x bonus entries. Let's now check out the interior. You've got this cool gray trim with the neon stitching, a little bit of storage at the bottom of the door panel. And then you can see with these seats, you've got that theme continued perforated all down the center portion. Being a midsize, it is a bit cramped here in the back. That's all midsize pickup trucks. Cup holders up top, and then down below you actually have some vents with some USB ports. And then the rear glass here is manual for the opening operation. Keyless entry for up front, and let's check it out. Blind spot monitoring with the mirrors. Down below we've got our memory seat function built in. The front driver window is automatic, then you've got more of that gray trim. 1,060 pounds of payload capacity with this truck. AEV there in the headrest, the front seat, driver's seat's perforated all down the center. It's got power adjustments with lumbar support. The front passenger seat's manual with the adjustments. And to the left of the steering wheel, you've got your utility brake controls. Soft touch trim all around the steering wheel, radio controls on the back. We've got practical controls on the front face for stuff like the center screen controls, heated steering wheel, cruise control there on the other side. And then here's a look at that digital gauge cluster. Again, you can press that little screen button on the steering wheel, completely change what the display shows, which adds a layer of customization that I appreciate. Backup camera in reverse. This actually doesn't have the 360, interesting. And then as for the rest of the infotainment system, it's quick to respond. This is where you can access the air down mode, your off-road stuff. It's got Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, shortcut bar there on the side. And then you notice there's physical climate controls on the bottom section. You also have heated ventilated seats with this. It's dual zone climate. Kind of a cool design with the soft touch in the dash and the ZR2 badge. Now below we've got our controls for our diff locks front and rear. They give you physical buttons. Ford has the diff locks in the touchscreen for the Ranger. It's so stupid. Auto stop start, you got your lane departure auxiliary, an item if you want. It's for all the windows, roll them down at once, and then phone charging pad too. Shift right here for the 8-speed, you've got plus and minus on the side so you can manually shift. And then we've got our drive line, drive mode select. So you twist for the drive modes, you push in for the drive line. Part-time four-wheel drive system with a 2-speed transfer case and 4-wheel drive auto, and then there's parking brake behind it. Some cup holders, center console, pretty normal. Nice trim on the top, and then this actually does come with a sunroof. 2026 ZR2, and then the Bison package, 11,700 bucks. So interesting, this is built off of a more baseline ZR2, kind of. I mean, there's some options added to it. But yeah, 64,169. Let's see how the Bison performs. R2 Bison. So, interesting that, I wonder if they're gonna build all of them off the base model Colorado, because they're trying to keep the price point where it's at, but also like Chevy. Why is the Colorado so expensive now? You know? It's not crazy, but you know, $64,000 for a 4-cylinder is already a lot. And then the fact that it's not the fully decked out, ooh, you know, it's decked out for off-roading, but not in terms of interior equipment. It's a lot to ask. It's a lot to ask, especially in this economy, you know? So, let's see how this performs. Is it in fact R.I.P. Ranger Raptor? Well, when it comes to engine performance, certainly not. Now this for a 4-cylinder is impressive. I think this is more impressive than Ford's 2.3. Now long-term reliability on this compared to Ford's 2.3, well, actually this engine, they've changed quite a bit. It's shown to be pretty darn good. So, time will tell. But yeah, it's probably just as reliable, maybe even more reliable than Ford's 2.3. But yeah, it doesn't compare to a 3.0 V6, you know? Now they do double pane windows up front with this, so that helps with the overall wind noise and just noise insulation for the driver in general. And it makes it so that you don't hear a ton of tire noise. There is some still coming through. You've got big tires, but not bad at all. Definitely helps out. Definitely helps out. Yeah, super smooth ride. And that's the thing I do like about this. I think this is a bit smoother than the Ranger Raptor. Part of that's the tires being bigger, but part of that is just the fact that the Multimatic shocks are a really good system. They're not active like live valve, but they do adjust based on a lot of factors, you know. The biggest thing is just how much compression is happening with the shock, and so depending on how much compression is happening will determine kind of how the shock reacts to everything. They need to put a V6 in this, but yeah, I mean, it gets the job done. I mean, we need a new name for General Motors. Like, we've all, like, the slang for General Motors for a long time has been government motors, because they got bought out during the recession. But you know, I like that name. I like that name. I think it's funny. I do think though that, like, you know, times have changed a little bit, and so, you know, this is like, you guys can probably come up with something better than I can, but I was thinking like woke motors. The reason being is Ford put a ton of money in EVs, but GM put like more money than anyone else into EVs. And so it shows, because like their ICE cars are like, this stuff is good, like the UI is easy to use and all that, and it's, I mean, there's some glitches with it, right? Not perfect, but then, you know, the powertrains of their ICE cars, like, they've fallen behind because they put everything into EVs. So I don't know, like, you guys could probably come up with a better name. Maybe we'll stick with government motors, right? But let me know you guys think about the ZR2 Bison. I think this is this is a cool truck. Like, AEV does a fantastic job, but AEV is also limited by the, you know, the actual vehicle that they're, you know, the starting platform. And I think the Colorado itself is great. It's just the engine. That's the only letdown. Like, the truck looks great, the suspension's great, the locking diff situation, like, everything's so good at this truck. It just needs a V6. So like, hopefully GM comes to their senses and throws a V6 in this, but I'm also like, I'm not counting on it. They probably need to change leadership at the top, at the very top, before they, you know, start to kind of come to some common sense, but time will tell.